Shalom, giving our praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yehoshai Ba'Hashem, Harakah Kodash, giving double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutes to all the 144,000 elect. Aria coming back at you with the next one. So, former actor Damon Wilson revealed why Kevin Samuels was deleted. And we're going to hear his take on his and this former podcaster Kevin Samuels, who passed around May 5th, 2022. So in this year, things are coming out. You know, this is a time of revelation. Actors and comedians bringing things out, what goes on in the music industry, and for the most part, exposing a lot of things, which we knew anyway. But the Mossad, is using certain characters, infamous or famous characters, bringing things out just to make it, this is his movie. We're in that year, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, man. So let's check this out. Without further ado, some of the commentary. I'm just going to let you hear the commentary just to avoid any unnecessary stupidity. And then we're going to hit some precepts, because what he brings out, as we know, Kevin Samuels was a controversial character. He wasn't, as far as what the elders were saying, and as well, they've been talking about this for years. So he was juiced in, but he wasn't falling in line with the agenda, bringing out all the ratchetness, and he was getting a lot of a lot of things were true, but he was getting a lot of negative feedback from speaking the truth, and that's what happens when you speak the truth. But it was like I say, we're gonna hear this, and then we're gonna hit some precepts. Without further ado,
I think that, what was his name? Samuels. Just died recently. Had the podcast. There was the women hated. Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels, yes.
Kevin Samuels was eliminated because they didn't want to go back to that. They want these women ignorant and twerking. They want kids running around the street. If they don't pay the income tax, they put them in the penitentiary, and they get their money out of them that way. It's like I said, we live in a matrix.
Is there a ritual attached to seeing black men in dresses when it comes to, I know it started around Flip Wilson time and probably before then. What's the ritual that's happening?
I told you now, listen, you know what Granddaddy told you when I first sat down here about Norman Lear.
Sure.
The dissolution of the patriarchal system. What we're experiencing now is the evolution of what Norman Lear started with All in the Family. And nobody got it. They missed it totally. They said, oh, Devon's talking about Norman didn't have... I said, you people have been so dumbed down, like Malcolm said. Some of us, we're going to have to leave behind. You're too brainwashed to understand. That was the important thing I said about it. And they don't even know that. You got this whole feminist movement out here. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. No, but your kids do. Your children do. A broken home. I can't remember the statistic. I think it's like 65% of the people incarcerated in the penal systems are single family. I don't need no man.
So it's just it will be all by design. I'm guessing they want this, right? I would assume people want this. The system benefits.
What do you mean, welfare?
Welfare, the patriarch dissolution that you just mentioned.
That's because of the feminist movement, brother.
Yeah.
The feminist movement. All of those lesbians back in the day, Gloria Steinem, Black Panther woman that teaches at Stanford University, they were lesbians. The Black Panther Party was a communist organization that was funded by the Rockefellers. That's the number one thing. So I mean, you got to understand, I came back to the world from the jungle when the Haight-Ashbury, the hippies, I hate to use that cliche, hated the government, everything about the government. They hated Nixon. They wanted to stop that war over there in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And the feminist movement has killed it. And these women walking around here, they're not being taught by their mothers to be wives. Now you got all these guys, they take your humanity from you. You know how the feminist movement has categorized men. I think that what was his name? Samuels. Just died recently. Had the podcast.
All right. So that was the former actor Damon Wilson. Yeah, he around the 70s, the sitcom Sanford and Son. Also, his partner in crime was John Elton Sanford. You played Red Fox, and they had their little you know, buck in the head. Red Fox would always put him down, but from what we heard, one of the elders mentioned that Damon Wilson wasn't he used to call him stupid or whatever. He wasn't a stupid person. He was he didn't sign the oath, so he wasn't a stupid person as what he appeared to be in that sitcom. And that was around the time of I remember certain sitcoms or action series that came on. Kojak, Shaft, the time of Shaft, Starsky and Hutch, around those days. But he mentioned that these women today, the point we're going to hit some precepts, that is really the point we're talking about, we're getting into, is the ratchetness and why the women are the way they are. And he went into the sacrifices, and he didn't mention them, but we know who's behind it, the smile hat people with the big noses. And yeah, he mentioned the lesbians, the Gloria Steinem. She was a lesbian, a former activist, a feminist activist, a journalist, a political activist around the times of the uprising, a lot of protests took place them around that time, rebellions against the government. That was around the 60s, 50s or 60s. So she was Gloria Steinem was a spokesman for the feminist movement, man, which goes into it mentions a lot of it he's mentioning about the women them. It doesn't they want them like that, twerking, not being taught to be wives. So let's hit some precepts. Let's hit some precepts because that some parts is what he's saying is on point, and we know Kevin Samuels spoke a lot of truth, which is why, to his opinion, Damon Wilson's opinion, why he says he was deleted. And brothers may have, we may have our own opinions about it, but we know he wasn't going in line with the agenda. So let's hit Deuteronomy 28, some of the precepts that came to mind, why I agree and why he was right on certain things, and why Kevin Samuels was right. Deuteronomy 28 and 30 says, "Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein." Right, this was a curse, man. And it goes into why. We're going to get into some of these curses. Now, let me just read. "Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt gather the grapes thereof." Right. "Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man lay with her." What does that make that woman? She definitely ain't a virgin. Let's read on. Bring out some of the curses. Let's hit this one here. Yeah, because the Most High said this would happen if we didn't obey his voice. 49 says, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the ends of the earth, as swift as an eagle. Fleeth a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand." A nation, that bastard tongue. "A nation fierce, with a fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person, the old, nor show favor to the young." Right? And they pick on the young. As a matter of fact, they go for the weak of our people, which are the young and the woman. The woman is the weaker vessel. So they prey on our children, and the woman the weaker vessel, which is the curses. Goes into that. Let's hit 54. So that a man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward his wife, and his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. All right, man. So that's what you might call, yeah, it speaks for itself, man. Yeah. So, 55. So that he will not give to any of them the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left in him. See the siege in the straitness wherein thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. Right. 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which shall not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for the delicateness and tenderness, for I shall be evil toward the husband of the bosoms, and toward the son, and toward a daughter. That's self-explanatory. That's that evil eye. The men have against the women, and the women have against the men up to this day. That's why you got these butchers. Yeah, the woman who was tender and she was delicate. She wouldn't even set her foot on the ground. Right? She was feminine. Just to say it right. She was feminine. Those days, women were more feminine. And even I can remember in the 60s, I can remember the 60s and I can remember the 70s. Even then, it's been a drastic change. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, women were more feminine, man. So now they're not being taught to be wives, as he said. They're in line with the agenda. They want them out there twerking. They want them on benefits. They want them relying on the system. Where once upon a time, we're going to hit some more precepts. Once upon a time, let's hit some of the laws in the Leviticus laws. Let's hit 19 and 29. It says, do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore. So yeah, whore, the word whore is in the Bible. Just like the word bastard is in the Bible and it's in the dictionary. These words, these are legitimate words. This is the correct words we're using here. We're not trying to what's the word? We're not trying to just insult the woman, but we're actually reproving her, because open rebuke is better than secret love. So we're calling them the right, correct words not as an insult, but as a reproof, which is love. Yeah. Talking about do not prostitute a woman. Yeah, because once upon a time you had a lot of these movies as well. Talking about the 60s and the 70s, there was a lot of characters like pimps, and that guy, was his name in Starsky and Hutch. Oh man, his name escapes me now. But he was a pimp. His name escapes me now. Dougie something. It might come back to me. But people like Shaft. There was a lot of those days. A lot of movies or sitcoms or series where they had pimps as the in thing, and it was all right. They showed it to be all right to be a pimp, to be to be trendy, to be cool. You was cool if you was a pimp. So this is against the laws, man. Against the law of the ultimate law in the Bible, right? And a lot of men were doing that to women. This goes back to that evil eye, making money, making merchandise of their own women. I'll read it again. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land. This talking about their daughters, man. Yeah, doing it to their daughters and their wives, man. Lest the land full to whoredom. I'll read that. I'll take my time. Let me take my time and read that again. Do not prostitute the daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom. Right. That's what you got now. The land is polluted with whoredoms. The social media now has got them now. That's the pimp now. The social media. And who's behind the social media? The smile hat people with the big noses. They're the pimps right now today. Pimping our women, which goes back to what we just looked at in Deuteronomy 28. The land is full of whoredom, and the land become full of wickedness. Hence why we got a lot of wickedness in the land. Because the women, yeah, the Most High's women, which were once tender and delicate, wouldn't even set her foot on the ground, is now become, her eye is evil toward her husband. Amos chapter 7 and 17 says, Therefore thus saith the Lord, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city, and the sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword. Right, behind enemy lines. This is exactly what's happening. That's why you're getting shot down, Jake. Right? So-called black men are being shot down over there, all around the world, as a matter of fact. And they made a proverb and a byword. Hated. Right? They make movies like sitcoms like which we just spoke about, which you had to be self-defeating. You had to put a stereotype on yourself if you wanted to make it in this world. Some say that was a ritual. They have to wear dresses, that goes back to a certain ritual, which is that's also against the laws of the scriptures. Like the scriptures said, a man shouldn't put on a attire of a woman, and a woman shouldn't wear the attire of a man. So this is all wickedness that's in the earth. So you can't deny it, man. You can't make this up. Deuteronomy 28 is prophecy, and it's in effect to this very day. So let's get back to Amos 7 and 17. It says, Wherefore thus saith the Lord, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city, and the sons of thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and the land shall be divided by land, and thou shalt die in a polluted land, and Israel shall surely go unto captivity, forth of his hand. Yeah. So we had prophets as well that the Most High said, right, I'm gonna make you go and take a wife of whoredom. Yeah. Comes to mind, I think it was might have been Nehemiah, or was it Hosea? Let me see if I find it anyway. Let me see if I find that precept. It wasn't in the program, but let's see. Yeah, it's in Hosea. Hosea. Definitely in Hosea. Let me find it. So he was speaking of his times and what he's seen in his lifetime, his experience. Damon Wilson, what is his observation, and some history as well. And he was spot on with that history. Hosea chapters 1. Yes, in Hosea. Let's see if I find it. Hosea. Let's see. Here it is. Verse 1 and 2 says of Hosea, the word of the Lord that came unto Hosea, the sons of Beer in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Hazak, and Hezekiah, king of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the sons of Josh, king of Israel, the beginning of the word of the Lord by Hosea. And the land said to Hosea, Go, take unto thee a wife of whoredoms. Right. So you can't make this up. This is in line with the Most High's movie of whoredoms and children of whoredoms. For the land have committed great whoredom, departing from the land. And it was just to make a point. You've whored against me. The land is polluted with whoredom. Now I'm gonna rub your face in it. Yeah, Hosea, I'm gonna let you know how it feels. That was the Most High making mention of that to the prophet Hosea. You go take a whore, since your people have whored against me, so that they can see what it feels like, how I feel. The way you've whored against me, I'm gonna give you a whore. You're gonna take a whore too. So that's why the men them are vexed. We're vexed. We see our women, how they're behaving, right? They're not giving a good name to Israel, but we know there's that there is a method to the Most High's movie, a method to the madness. It's for us to learn a lesson, man. But the end result for these hoes today, right? And I'm saying it again as a reproval to our women. Yeah, open rebuke is better than secret love. I'm not saying it as an assault. which Kevin Samuel, who knows what his motive were. We know Kevin Samuel's a former podcaster. You know, we know he became very rich and very wealthy, and he was getting a bit too big as far as the agenda, what the agenda was, and what the small hats thought. And some say it's a conspiracy theory, but Damon Wilson said, as far as what he gathers, and others too, said he was deleted. But yeah, did he speak a lot of truth? 100%, he spoke a lot of truth, which the elders were making mention of that even before he was even known. The elders, our elders and our apostles, and their elders made mention of that, and their apostles. So their high priest Ariah made mention of the women. He made you know, they needed to be reproved, and like I say, the earth now is even polluted up to this very day. And you got the big pimping taking place. The big pimping now is the small hat people, them with the big noses. Yeah, Jake done his little something in these pimps, and the Most High said, boy, there's going to be a judgment upon them. He said, you're not supposed to do that to your daughters or your wives. So yeah, there is definitely an evil eye out there. The men hate the women. That's that evil eye, and the women hate the men. Right, and that's in Israel. But the Most High going to clean all that up. So let's hit this one, Revelation 21 and 8 says, this is what the Most High going to do to all such people. But the fearful and the unbelievings and the abominables and the murderers and the whoremongers. So the whores, that's the ones doing it, right? Sell it, which is one of the oldest businesses. One of the oldest businesses from the beginning. There's been this prostitution, this old ancient, you could even call it an ancient business. Goes back from the beginning. Prostitution, that's why the Most High wrote those laws, put it in the laws, the Leviticus laws, not to whore out your daughter or your wife. So now, and if you don't want to do that and you're against it, now you may be on the receiving end of it. Yeah, because the whole of the nation whored against Yahweh, right? Yahweh, you Christians call him God. The whole of the nation whored against him. Now, for our punishment, if you get a woman today, you ain't getting no virgin. Let me just say it like that. That's all part of Deuteronomy 28. And so we know how it feels, how Yahweh felt. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and the whoremongers and the sorcerers, right, all in one breath, adulterers and all liars shall have their part in the lake of fire, which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death, right? So that's the end result for those whoremongers and whores. They're going to get burned up, second death for them, right? But it's not all doom and gloom, you know, for all the wicked of our own people that, you know, they're going to come back in their right mind. God makes mention of that in Daniel's chapter 12. They're going to come back with their right mind, in their right mind, man. But they had to suffer the punishment of that evil, that wickedness that has polluted the whole of the earth. But in the kingdom, this is what we're going to be doing, man. Yes, Psalms 28, we're going to end with this one. Psalms 128. And 1 says, a song of decree, blessed is everyone that feareth the Lord, that walketh in his days. So, yeah, we're going to have to pass through Jacob's trouble. Some may have to undergo, you know, the martyrdom or the FEMA camps. Some may have to undergo that. And we definitely ain't going to take the mark of the beast. The elect are sealed for salvation. They ain't going to take the MOTB because they're sealed for salvation. So when we pass through, for those of us that make it through, or even if you get deleted, you're going to be back anyway. Yeah, you're going to be first in the chariots. First to get salvation, you're going to be up in the chariots. And for those of us that don't get martyred, Abu Ratazar, whatever our lot is, we're going to accept it. We're going to all be meeting in the chariots, and there will be a family reunion. That's the word, what the elder mentioned. There will be a big family reunion. Doesn't matter how we get there. Either it be through martyrdom, through being out there in the wilderness, or just being beamed up by the beam. There will be a family reunion with the elect. Abaratazar, Father willing, we will make it, man. Yeah, endure to the end. Reading on in Psalms 128. For thou shalt eat the labor of thine hands. Happy shalt thou be, and it shall be well with thee. Right. Here's the point. Thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine. Right. And we're going to have many wives, we know. Right. And that's scriptural. Right. We're not breaking the laws, having thousands or hundreds. We're probably going to let ourselves down gently. But then again, some of us, we're going to have to be making up for lost time. We're going to be making, and he goes into that in Isaiah 60. 10 shall become 1,000, something to that effect. Anyway, I think it touches on this. It touches on it in we're going to get to it in this chapter as well, right? So we're going to become 1,000, thousands and thousands, and thousands becomes millions, and millions becomes tens of millions. We're going to catch up on a lot of lost time, right? For thou shalt eat the labor of thine hands, happy shalt thou be, and it shall be well with thee. Thy wife shall be a fruitful vine, right? She's going to be popping out picnic left, right, and center. Be popping them out. She's going to be fruitful, right? And, you know, Yahshua Allah Jacob, yeah, we're fruitful people. We're very potent. The man is very potent. Right? And the woman is very potent too. Fruitful, bearing fruit. A whole heap of picnic, a whole heap of children. Yeah, fruitful vine by the sides of thine house. Thy children are children like an olive plant round about thy table. Right, them olives, man. You ever see them olives, man? There's olive. You don't even count them. There's too many of them. In abundance, those olives, a big bunch of olives, you know, or a bunch of grapes. It's just too much. You don't count. When you get a bunch of grapes, you don't count them. And it's going to be bunches. Not just going to be one bunch. It's going to be bunches and bunches and bunches. Right? Let's read on. Behold that take your time. Breathe. Let me get up and shut the curtain and breathe at the same time. So reading on. Behold, Psalms 128 and 4. Behold, that thou shalt no man be blessed that feareth the Lord. Behold, that thus shall the man be blessed that feareth the Lord. Get it right. Behold, that thus shall the man be blessed that feareth the Lord. The Lord shall bless thee out of Zion, and thou shalt see the good of Jerusalem all the days of thy life. Yea, thou shalt see thy children, and peace upon Israel. Right? It's going to be an abundance of everything, man. Right? Because wives lead to plenty children. Having plenty wives lead to having plenty children. So in contrast, right now what we're seeing is pure holy wickedness. Right? As it may, we just looked at here, Damon Wilson, he spoke about the agenda, and there is an agenda behind why we're seeing our women the way they are today. Right? And we mentioned in Deuteronomy 28, also in Amos 7, we mentioned the curse that is in the earth, the wickedness that is in the earth. And also in Hosea. It was in Hosea chapter 1. Amos chapter 7, Hosea chapter 1, Leviticus chapters 19, Deuteronomy 28. So it's all part, the Most High is teaching us a lesson, and yeah, we get it. We know the Most High's movie, the Most High don't make mistakes. Everything's for a reason. The Most High is perfect in all his doings. So, the Wada Tio Washimisha putting the spirit on me to do this video. More revealings coming out. Right? More revelations coming out. We're in that time of the hopeful year of Jacob trouble. where there's a whole heap of revelations coming out. We're in the time of revelation, the time to reveal. Shalom to the sincere Akim. We on to the next.